looking to be one of those teams who doesn't make mistakes today. Tether goes down through the cat wall. It's going to be a little bit lagging behind those players who are just scarpering away in the distance here. It's going to be Team Dragons who are trying to escape from the clutches of the 30-30 of Zuni. Manages to do so.
I'll search it up real quick.
30, by the way.
Never mind. Closed itself.
It's very, very strong.
EMEA.
Okay, Sweaty agrees. He's just gone down.
Yeah,
it's very early. It's 3 AM.
And you'll see the majority of players today.
I was a little bit late to it. Only missed Alliance getting a kill and Nemesis getting a kill.
Alongside mostly the R99 or the P2020s as a secondary. And then, of course,
I've always wanted to get do the watch parties. I watch ALGS all the time, especially the lands. So definitely keen to start this as a little practice day leading up to the EWC. Whether I'm gonna watch party that, we shall see. But yeah, I was actually gonna only do NA, but kinda couldn't sleep, so I've decided to do EMEA as well as NA now. So should be interesting.
Looking to find a little spot to land.
Haven't live stream time either, so excited.
I don't think anyone will commit to them, and of course 10k being 10k.
I don't really know how many people subscribe to my channel, kind of know how the ALGS scene kind of gets on, but usually enjoy it. I love watching it, so I'm sure useful too.
Since this team has formed, so we'll have to see how far they can go when they start to push their way up.
Yeah, you can see a lot of teams already rotating. This is a zone where if you're not there early, you're going to really struggle because you've got the opportunity to wrap from the north, but you can already see so many teams there are just going to be holding out. And if you come in from the south, you've already seen it on the map overhead and the teams that were flying in. You're just running uphill. It's such a tough zone to try and get into if you're not there early on it.
Cat's already down. I don't really know too many teams right now in this regional final. For me, EMEA, Jesus Christ. I know obviously Alliance, GG, going next esports, a few others, but Alliance are just a walk park this surely. Keen for NA. I'm an NRG fanboy. Well, I'm an It's Timmy fanboy really.
Sometimes you will have a few teams lurking around
Big
to try and pick
fan
up some extra KP around the zone. Maybe they haven't been able to loot successfully, maybe they had to respawn.
It's very 50-50 whether I watch this on the ALGS livestream or I watch it on last week's livestream. But I decided to go Twitch ALGS livestream.
Yeah, and 6 eyes.
See how it plays out.
Alliance on them at the moment.
Just experimenting.
Not ideal, I think it's fair to say.
We can only watch 10 POVs, I think, for the regional finals. That's why I went. LGS one.
We'll be able to grab this Evo Harv, I think, as well, which should get unlucky up to purple as well, should they so choose. So taking a little bit extra damage, though. We'll be fine, though, in the Trident.
Larch just walks, like, they just rotate so easily.
A clean squad wipe so far in this game. Only the 3 KP for them, but it's more than anyone else has got so far.
Of course, the further
don't get how they just rotate so easily.
About teams that have actually won matches as well, especially when it comes to map-to-map ratio, but certainly right now it's about actually just scoring points and putting points on the board. A team...
Browser kind of error. What the hell? Yeah, right. That just happened. But we'll be back soon. There we go.
Inside command center.
Hopefully that doesn't happen too often.
He's trying to move up on the outside of this as well, putting some pressure onto Nephilim. So this is like a little bit of a domino effect. If one team goes down here, you feel like everybody in and around command center is going to burst to life and look for a third-party opportunity. But I don't think anyone realizes there's 4 or 5 teams around here at the moment. FaZe have probably recognized they don't need to do too much right now.
Alliance rotating around.
Towards this northern side.
They'll somehow manage to get out of there.
It looks like they're ready to fight.
Will they be moaning with Ronin? That's the real question, because Ronin look like they want to try and get involved in this one. You can already hear that Devo start to charge up as well, and we get a fight on the stairs.
We get P2 with the other team on this, and oh my, there is that Devo, and it's 7 who is taking fleshy chunks out of his opponents. MG Clutch is going to be last alive here. He has the Devos of his own. Clutch by name.
No chance.
Clutch by nature. Well, he's going to be the last one alive here. It's a 1v1 and
no chance.
Massive health advantage here, and even though the knockdown shields usually
he almost got that. You're never going to beat the Devo in that situation. No chance.
Again, as now Alliance are just going to be underneath Z10 here. They've already lost effect, but again, there is going to be Devos involved in this one, and Unlucky can't quite shred through.
Hackett last alive on the boat. A lot of damage been done. Not going to be in a position really to capitalize though. He seemed a little bit split from the rest of his team. Going to be trying to use that bow check from a distance to keep Unlucky and Effect alive. The good news for him is there's a craft
not stand a chance there.
So he can get the banners.
Lion's dying though.
Is he going to be able to res? That's the real question at the back here. Before he gets pushed, might well be able to.
Lucky's Effect and Hackers are just, I don't know how they haven't won a ALGS LAN yet. They are so good. Obviously they won the EWC. Which is probably the harder tournament at the time.
Algs is trying to escape here, trying to get back through those doors. Manages to do so. That's a big stick, though. A big stick, and that might buy enough time for them to get him back on.
They always do horrible at LAN.
Drone's going to go up. No EMP available, though, but the drone being in the sky.
They always do so bad.
The team inside a little bit about pushing. There is actually the knock that came in. So Nags
traded out.
Yeah, Zane managed to get that trade, and Nags will be able to get back on his feet.
So this fight might just end up being nothing. Let's FaZe go for a wrap. Actually, this could be a really interesting play from FaZe. Try and take.
I want to look at the overall standings. This is like my first time watching EA Pro League. I always just do NA up until LAN. Obviously, every team competes against each other.
Big tether coming in from Zane as well. Does a lot of work to keep them stuck in this corner. Jans is last alive. Zane's trying to play his life, but he's going to have to swing here.
Obviously, they'll probably show me after the end of every game, actually.
But it looks like FaZe should be able to hold
assume they will.
This res. Zipline Mafia aren't close enough to pressure this.
Oh, I want to get an energy drink. It's 3:30 AM. It's ridiculous.
Team War still in the area as well, so you know it's not job done yet.
My plan was to sleep to 8 AM. Just watch NA, but that went sideways. I'm up 5 hours earlier.
But now they should be able to push out, and there's the last remaining player from War as well.
Oh, Shub gets stuck as well once again. He fires his own Q back, and
Sherb's in trouble.
FaZe a little bit, but there's the ultimate coming out from Zane.
He's solo.
Going past from the Ash, and FaZe trying to overtake and then shoot back Sherb. They will be able to do so. Team War have been eliminated, but look at the health meds. That's
Lion's dying again. Oh, Effect's gonna go off here. The R99.
Down to 15 squads, and Z10.
Third party or nice third? Oh my god. Zero tenacity. It's a team I know as well.
You can't let Alliance get back into the game even when they're down to 1.
Alliance have almost died like 4 times.
They should just be able to reset here, but VCGO maybe not going to allow them to do it quickly, but Unlucky has been able to knock one. This is a 2v2.
I mean, Unlucky, the only problem for him is he had no ammo left in that devotion. Hackett is last alive. We'll get the shield swap.
No way they get another reset.
And it's a 1v1 here. VCGO were looking to move in. But look who else is in the area. It's Na'Vi who finally decide to have a little bit of involvement in this game.
They're the only Titans that are challenging TSM. Sorry, Alliance. Jesus Christ.
Well, the two big dogs, Na'Vi and Alliance, the two that have already qualified for the mid-season playoffs. It looks like Na'Vi will get the better of Alliance.
I love Alliance, but
Alliance did very well, even to get to 12th place.
I hope they do well at LAN, but I hope they get pumped today. They just win everything in EMEA. It's annoying.
Onyx taking a lot of damage as well, but Xhako gets broken. The Arca goes in, but he gets PK'd. Vushi with a big pump to make this situation favor Onyx. Slab has to back up as well. Xhako thinks exactly the same thing. The zone is going to be closing in 10 seconds behind them. It's a 2v3 for Na'Vi to overcome here.
Onyx are spread though, I believe. There's one player who's just slightly away, and maybe they can do something with this Na'Vi, but Onyx are just pushing so successfully as a duo right now, making it so difficult for Na'Vi to even find an angle.
Yeah, that knock from Vushi with the PK was the difference maker.
Jesus Christ, sorry.
Gave them that advantage back when it felt like
trying to figure out how to view chat only on my phone. I don't know how to do it. Anyone here knows how to do it, let me know.
Devo himself, he gets multiple kills. Dragons will be eliminated thanks to him. And GG pick up their KP.
I do not
with the
know
zone now coming in, all the teams that are on that southern side have to come up the hill. That's why we saw that kill feed come to life. As now Nemesis getting involved. But Mouse are actually going to say, actually, we're ready for you.
My internet goes out here and there, so if it happens, I'll just restart the live stream.
EMP is going down as well, and it's going to be getting very, very chaotic here outside of Elrod. And now you're going to see Mouse make the swing through the Alter Q up onto the height. Nemesis down to 1. Zuni's found himself a little quiet corner, which he can hope will stay quiet for a few moments longer. FaZe Clan have been eliminated. Very tough zone for them to get to. A few KP along the way will certainly be good news for them. Let's go next in the kill feed. Trade out kills with GG as well. You can see Henchman and Light on your screen right now.
If those ads pop up on the right, I mean, I don't actually go view an ad, then I'm alright with that. Hopefully they don't keep popping up.
Yeah, a lot of alter portals available for people just to try and reset themselves. And Nexus does a great job, and it just allows you, if you're confident no one is in the building, or at least in the position where you placed it, then you can reset very comfortably. But it is just portal after portal here to try and escape and try and survive.
Zone is pulling out into the open. GG, if they can win this fight, then they can have the high ground towards this endgame. UM in a great spot, by the way, to the north side, who were under pressure very, very early here. Light's taking an off angle. He's going to find one, but he's going to have to find more than one hit. The Newcastle Q is a problem. The mobile shield is slowing down the damage from this devotion. But kind of now left on his own. He's going to take the pull, but here comes the third party. Here comes Ronin.
GG dying too.
Yeah, Ronin maybe just timed this absolutely perfectly. Sometimes when you're watching it from a distance, you just really have to look at that kill feed and try and get a little bit of guesswork. Keep your ear to the ground as well. Listen for those weapons. I'll go next just to be able to hold off Ronin here. They have been able to find themselves a little hidey hole, but Ronin being very aggressive.
Oh, Nate's getting taken down though! Henchman with the P20s. GG just
Clutch is going off this game. I've never heard of him before. Devo PK's nasty. Go get that swap, brother. He didn't get the swap. Get a med first, surely. Go next, go down. All the best teams are dying early.
MG Clutch very, very weak. In some circumstances, he has certainly been the savior.
Everyone is out of the zone except
I assume
the end. It was an easy cleanup for them.
OBS Studios reconnection.
Everybody caught down on the southern side of that zone.
Did that reconnect?
Where it was just so hectic, so
busy.
We saw so many teams die as they just tried to lead that building. Onyx, who won that fight on height against Na'Vi a little bit earlier, remember, they were able to drop into that position late. They own that side, and with it pulling a little bit more to the north,
right, lit.
A few teams
but
were expecting.
I missed the bloody end game because of that.
Into second position, and also picking up a couple of KP
God,
as
my
well.
phone, my internet's annoying sometimes.
Onyx with 19, who lead the
They should replay it. Onyx won. Who? Na'Vi got 7th, Go Next 8th, GG 9th, FaZe Clan 10th, Lights 12th, Aurora 16th, Zero Tenacity 15th. They're the only teams I know.
Across the board, Ronin get 10. I think they'll be delighted with that one. I mean,
they're the only teams I know.
Alliance, 9 kills for them. Doesn't matter, they didn't get the placement. That's the kind of game Alliance can play.
What's up, Jason?
But certainly an interesting match 1, and we'll have to see how Stormpoint plays later, because we're not going to see it until match 6 now.
Yeah, we saw some clutch moments from MG Clutch as well. Apex Predator was Zane though with 5 kills. Now, FaZe, who put up 7 points if I'm not mistaken from my short-term memory in that game number 1, with a very rough zone for them to get to. I think we'll be pretty happy with that game number 1. Vushi with the most damage dealt in the lobby as well.
Yeah, Alliance are good, but they didn't have a great game 1, even though they still got a couple KP.
High energy game it felt in that game number 1.
Alright, finally the replay.
Yeah,
no.
A lot of nerves, and also
the
a lot of people just trying to
replay.
say, like, this is our moment. This is our chance to get to the mid-season playoffs. Let's start with a bang. Speaking of bang, we'll be back with a bang. We're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, it'll be match number 2. I can't wait.
Are you not going to show a replay? That's crazy. That's crazy work. I've completely misspelled everything towards the end then.
This wasn't just about who's the best. It was about who had to win.
This amount of money it's life-changing, not just for...
It's got a minute. So when we're on here, I'll see what nice week so we can listen to something at least. But apparently he's got a NAD going. I mean, his Apex. Alright, there we go. Weeks back. We can listen to something by a NAD. What the hell? There we go.
We're dialed, baby. We are dialed today. Yeah, EWC pretty much has no rules right now. Like, literally at all. Not one bit. It is looking like the B stream is not going to EWC. No, it is not. All right, we're now heading over. What did I just say? Was that real? We are now going to head over to Broken Moon for one game. Then we go to E District for two. We have GG over at Breaker Wharf for the 28th pick. That is low-key fire. That's actually a great POI draft, man. We'll take that. I think even for last night, off of APAC North, we had one Breaker Wharf game out of the two that were played for Broken Moon. Nephilim over at Alpha Base, which is a great pick. Cybercats over at Core. Ronin at Spaceport. SJP2 over at Dry Gooch. FaZe Clan at Stasis. Navi at Cliffside. Aurora at Eternal Gardens. Nemesis at Production Yard. Mouse at Quarantine. Team War at Underpass. Go Next at Hazmat Tunnel. Z10 over at Divide. Onyx at Terraformer. Zipline Mafia. Experimental Labs. We have UAIM at Cultivation. Alliance with the #1 pick of the draft. Got goddamn Bionomics. 10K at Atmos, which is a great POI draft without these zones been pulling. Dragons at Solar Pods. And VC Go over at goddamn Foundry. It was game 8. Chronos. I'm not sure which one that ended on. Alrighty. That is going to Broken Moon, man, for this game, too. Games should be starting up quick. Again, they probably don't want the Americas stream delayed and games delayed, so they're probably going to start these games up quite fast. That's what I would think, at least. We'll see.
We'll see.
Doesn't Moon pull the bio now? Doesn't Broken Moon pull the Bionomics like 5 times out of 6? Nah. It's actually been a little bit since they actually pulled to Bionomics. It's been going mostly Atmos Station or Terraformer side pretty much the whole time. Even Cultivation right now has been happening more than Bio.
He's got weak stream up. Bro.
Oh my God, that's awesome, Slub. Hell yeah, dude. I'm jealous. Hey, Wig, what up, Finest? How you doing today? Good to see you. Down with Ash. I think the game 1 ban was... Who do we got?
Oh, it's on the replay.
To work with. Man, that's what I love about Onyx. They come out clean from that game 1 win. Also,
missed it.
Seeing only the duel that was right there from UAIM that was at the very end too, but they were able to clear their backs to hold that side of Storm Point over by the north side.
Yeah, and you mentioned legend bans as well. Ash is going to be taken out of the equation throughout the entirety of today.
Yeah, so I'll switch to Wig's live stream
assault characters get banned, which,
when they go on their long breaks.
Point, but certainly at the moment we don't really need to be thinking about it. But that means
or I could just watch Wig's live stream.
Ash, so
as I said, EMEA's a practice for NA. I'll have it all sorted by the time NA pops up.
Here on Broken Moon as well. And speaking of Broken Moon, the team to watch out for me is probably going to be Na'Vi, actually. They have the most points across the season on Broken Moon. They've been the most consistent, whether it's victories,
Na'Vi are pretty
whether
good.
It's just points across the board, whether it's kills. It has been all Na'Vi on this map.
It's interesting because, you know, when you take a look at the teams that have found themselves struggling,
Ash gone, not surprised.
Getting around those choke points.
Ulta will probably be next.
So difficult if you do
swear they love an Ulta and Breaking Moon. Ulta and ED definitely goes.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Na'Vi on this map. They just seem to burst to life. Their killing ability is incredible. They seem to move very well as a unit, as a team, and just need to know their timing has been down to a T every single opportunity as well. Always third partying in the right time. Really frustrating teams that are having those fights. So we'll keep an eye on.
Last time I played Ulta. It was my first time ever playing as Ulta.
But certainly we have to look at the POI draft for Broken Moon when it comes. Of course, that's Storm Point, but Broken Moon is going to be a little bit different across the board for where these teams are going to be picking Vicky, because we saw a lot of squads prioritizing Storm Point here, like Ceto Station for Nemesis.
I'll be right next to Alliance.
They didn't necessarily
and Aurora and Go Next,
so
all
where
there.
were they for Broken Moon would be my question.
Round 1 winners bottom middle.
After taking that game 1 all the way to
GG off the right.
That lightning rod northern zone, and now here on Broken Moon they do land Terraformer. I feel like just looking at scrims in general and even looking at the history of these final zone pools on Broken Moon, we've seen a lot of Alpha Base, we've seen a lot of Atmos Station pulling north side of Terraformer 2. I think it's really interesting because aside from getting through these pesky chokes, you have to also
I watch one off week stream, like maybe game 3. Now I'll see which one I prefer.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still see a lot of Alter. That's going to be...
Yeah, I think Alter gets banned.
They're going to go for here. That Nexus portal is going to be
Alter 60%, Crypto 50, yeah, Alter's gone.
Reset if things go wrong, but also you can use it as a rotational tool as well. If your Alter plays ahead of everyone, drops it, then they can join you in there. It does work a little bit like a Wraith portal sometimes. And you can see that from the pick order at the top as well. 12 Alters in the lobby, so it looks like Alter's going to be banned for match 3. 10 Cryptos as well. You wouldn't,
a lot of Cryptos.
EMEA, would you, with the amount of Cryptos we have?
EMEA.
Interesting here. Looking at the changes on the pick
gold
race
hemlock off the
here,
rip.
I have to say, I've been such a big fan. I know we've already gotten used to it, but I've just been such a big fan of the legend ban system that we currently have in place for the ALGS. It's made things very exciting. It's forced a lot of our pros to adapt and be good at multiple legends, and that's another thing to highlight in a battle royale.
Ain't no live stream without a bit of adversity, eh?
When we get shots like this,
I prefer the ads pop on the bottom of the screen like that.
When
It's
it
way
comes
better.
to being consistent here, it's about in a BR finding the teams that
So
can try to
Alliance
reduce
dropped
that
early
RNG
and they
fast
still got
fingers,
10
especially with
KP.
these legend
That's
bans in
fucking
places. We
ridiculous.
see a quarantine zone favoring Mouse since they do have that ring console and survey beacon.
Oh, this one's
So
gonna get
keen for
ugly,
NA.
though,
I'm just
because
chilling
this
until
is gonna
NA
be an
pops up.
interesting
When
end
NA
zone. I mean,
pops
we
up,
were
I
in
did an
ugly
NA live
end
stream.
zone in match number 1, but this could arguably be worse because you look at the amount of chokes that you're going to be funneled through.
We're
The good
excited.
thing
I don't know
is
whether I pause
plenty
in
of
between.
alters to try and get you through some of these walls.
This will
If you
finish
just
at
wanna get
like...
through the distance, you might be able to find your way through an
If
area
it finishes
where you
before
wouldn't
7,
typically before,
I'll have an
but
hour break.
Without Ash, you are losing a lot of that. If you don't have Alter here, if you don't have a Wraith, then I might be worried about some of these teams. Like, how are you actually going to fight your way through some of these chokes if you're arriving late?
That adds,
so the way
you can
counter
drop
that
now.
is move early and move fast.
Yeah, because then you have teams like FaZe who really only have the catalyst to
Appreciate
help
it.
you with the rotate. If you have a cat wall ready to go too, and they're one of the teams that are running the cat, ballistic, and crypto.
Quarantine.
More squads now making their way into that next zone. Zipline Mafia coming in from the
These
south
end
side after
games.
exiting out of experimental labs. VC
End
go
games
one
of
of the
Broken
teams to take
Moon.
their time. They do have a ring
Fucking
console
so
there as well,
hard.
as well as the solar pods.
So
survey
hard. There's so
beacon.
many
But
chokeholds, I
This
swear.
is gonna get hot fast. SJP2 on their
Look
rotate
how
over
many
to the north
chokeholds
side.
there
We're running
are.
a little behind since they're leaving out of spaceport here as we
Check.
start already with the fights.
The checkpoint.
Yeah,
Fucking
FaZe
hell.
versus Na'Vi. I said
Quarantine.
that Na'Vi, you know, the #1 performing team on this map, but you're also
You gotta be kidding me. Why are you pausing right now? I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Angry.
Inside the building to try to reset.
one. Slab should be able to get this bat off, and he has got the Devo as well.
You're not
He's
beating
gonna
the Devo,
shred through
brother.
that. They always see is the
Oh.
sniper stock, but now
Devo,
he's
oh,
gonna
no.
be able to see things
He's
go
got it.
down. Surely he-
Oh,
I was so worried he was going to miss that, but FaZe Clan will go down.
I so thought
Dude, that sniper
Had
stock
that
was so
then.
big that was taking up like a quarter.
thought
of his
Cinetic had
screen.
that.
Oh, he still kept ringing though. That Devo. the
Na'Vi
Nemesis
almost
on
through
top of
that.
it, the Nemesis
They
being the
straight
nail in the
almost through.
coffin, still was able to just keep bursting through that knockdown.
Of course it pauses right in a 1v1 situation.
I mean, that's
Bruh.
Na'Vi kind of summed up as well, really. Just sheer
Ballistic I've been wanting to
aggression
play
on
as. He's
Broken Moon and not really allowing
in
anyone
LGS,
to
he's been looking like he's been
rotate
frying.
comfortably. But now are they going to be able to reset comfortably themselves? I
Surely
think
they would
should
know
be
by
alright. It
now.
looks like Aurora too far
Like,
away.
surely
But
they
this is
would
what I
have
was talking about
mapped
with,
out all
with
this if there
Alter.
was a
Everyone
spot.
just trying to see the depth here of that void passage. What walls can you get through?
It looked like
Because
he
it's
just
going to
got
make a
it.
big
It
difference.
Yeah, it looked like he just highlighted like a 40-meter depth. Oh, right, okay. So being able to find an angle. These are the different rollouts.
There's
that I
no
was really
way.
excited
It's
to
too
see
big.
when
The
we
depth's too
also
big.
introduced Broken Moon into our ALGS map pool. With the changes that we've seen to Alter now, just trying to figure out these different type of rotations to get through these chokes as Team Nemesis. Sit
I mean,
heavily
Page
here
gamers
on
are
this
pussies,
southern building.
but
Now just looking at
I understand that, yes.
where there is another evil harvester.
Hungry. I need an engineering too.
So a little bit of calm across Broken Moon now as
Arvy's
the
ratting
early
the zip
fights
line, but Aurora's going to the
dissipate.
left.
We've had a lot of teams moving early to quarantine, but then you've got the teams that are holding the outer edges around it that are kind of just waiting to see for these late rotators to pick up. maybe some KP and some fight. And for Na'Vi in particular, I mean, they know Aurora are coming from this angle, and that's who they're waiting for at the moment. But I think Aurora perhaps have sniffed this one out. And we're getting a little bit
rotated
of
around.
back and forth between these two teams, where Aurora are trying to transition through the northwest side, and then they're going back to the east, and then back to the west, and Na'Vi are just kind of following.
And they're a little split up too. We have to see how Na'Vi approaches that northern inevitable fight here, as Aurora do want to try to get the Evil Harvester. That's on the northwestern side of Cliffside. Looks like they are able to get away with
Such a
that
hard
before
building to
taking
lock
the
down, I swear,
accelerated
as well.
and Zero Tenacity inside one of the buildings here. Right in the middle,
Especially
where
the middle one.
everybody else except for like 5 squads have made their way into that next zone.
Yeah, I mean, those 5 squads are what? Nephilim, GG, Aurora, Na'Vi, Nemesis, and I guess VCGO as well. So we'll give it 6. Oh, Alliance as well. Okay, so kind of 6, 7 teams that are just outside, but everyone else is literally within quarantine zone. And Zero Tenacity, I mean, I think if you're one of these teams that has moved early, if you're still on Grays, then you need to be taking a few pop shots here or there. You need to be trying to find.
Apparently the Nexus portal got nerfed, I heard.
But it
Not
looks
too
like
sure though.
most teams have been able to get there already, so it should be okay.
That's why you're seeing the 30-30s or the G7s, just for some poke pressure too. If you try to prioritize your game plan into rotating into that zone early, and in a zone like this, in quarantine zone, you know there's so much space to coexist with other teams, so you can expect that final zone to have so many teams having to forcibly collapse on one another depending on where that final zone pool is in quarantine zone.
That sniper stock still living rent-free in my head, I'm not gonna lie.
I can't believe it was just lingering there too, even if he wasn't aiming at it.
I mean, I feel like it must have been an observer
Being
thing.
dropped
If
to
that
the
was on
gold
my
hemlock
POV
has
when I was
done
trying
no
to take the
damage.
fight, I would be absolutely fuming. Zone is going to close, so we're going to get a little bit more information as to where we're going to be heading. And yeah, bang, right more central in quarantine zone. I think we expected that, so everyone who had predicted it, yeah, good job. I don't think you were going to miss.
Also, thinking now Alliance being able to move in from cultivation after they are able to get the ring console and the survey beacon on top of the Evil Harvester. We know that this is something that Alliance likes to do, a lot of side questing after they already soaked up so much KP even in that last game. Even despite
Still
them
on that
falling
right
in,
side,
like,
and there's just
12th
no
place,
teams
they're
that I
just gonna
know.
take their
It's
time to
crazy.
rotate around, maybe try to
But you
cut
go
off
to
Gaming
NA,
Gladiators,
I
and
think it's
saw
about
they're gonna be
17
rotating
out of
from the
20
south
teams
to
now.
the eastern side.
Players too.
Oh, big ballistic Q coming through. It will tag, but gets absolutely drilled. They are going to get a knock via the ring, though, so Na'Vi are just going to be a 2 here, make it a 1, and suddenly...
Na'Vi were trying to hold them out. Did they get third-partied, or...?
See the pings,
how
though.
the hell
Just
did
trying
they
to be able
get
to
back
reset
around
here,
them?
up to Chaco
Another team.
to clutch it for the
that
rest
entered.
of Na'Vi, trying to commit into this fight here. It's versus Nephilim. Over by
I think it's the team
Array.
they're trying to hold
Getting
out.
some nades too. Maybe a 1v1 unless they were able to get the res. Okay, now you see the res coming in now from Nephilim. They're looking to fully reset here. Can Na'Vi get the reset themselves, of course, with Ochako being the last player alive on the raid?
Nexus portal goes down. That will allow the portal to happen, and there's going to be a reset. So, again,
Na'Vi's in trouble, they got to back out.
Bully a team, and
Well, they get the
Na'Vi
reset
have
too.
reset as
Oh, they have got
Na'Vi
the reset
also
as well.
rallied them. Na'Vi's still going for this fight here, Vicky, by the looks of it.
Yeah, and being the only team with the Mirage, you could go in for these resets a lot faster, especially with the Mirage being able to get that res himself, Hierarcha. And that pick is going to be able to now try to see if they want to cut off Nephilim instead, since they're already safely into that next zone. Aurora are going to mirror them on the other side of Cliffside.
Oh, Alliance and GG. These are two powerhouses going on right now.
As we now take a look at Alliance, who decided to show face here in that
GG's backing
southeastern
up.
choke that I had mentioned exiting out of Terraformer.
Yeah, this is going to be our first choke
Nice
fight,
effect.
right? And I'm not talking about the sniper stock causing a choke. Instead, I'm going to talk about Alliance just trying to force their way through this choke instead. And it looks like GG are retreating. They've said, all right, you can have it. Maybe they got a sense that it was Alliance, and they didn't really fancy taking the fight. And they found it wasn't worth it.
And not gonna lie, I don't like taking fights up here too, because if you know that your backs aren't cleared, you know the zone's already pulling right there on top of quarantine zone, then you already know that squads could be looking at you, could third party you in the safety of these different buildings. You could hang out on the roof. Moving up though, it's gonna be Alliance sliding down that hill. They want to take this fight versus Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, Funk's gonna just dive away here, but Alliance continuing to pressure and be aggressive. Effects taking a lot though, has to reset. Elsewhere in the kill feed, VCGO have just lost one as well, so a couple of fights breaking out now here around quarantine zone.
clutch has been popping off, finishing off No too.
New character. Haven't played since the new characters come out.
Get on top of the roof
Don't
with
think.
that
No, I have.
just
Sorry.
forced out, evicted here while they wrap around, not letting Alliance get away with this. But Alliance are also holding two different angles. As you can see, Hockey's two on the other side.
For a day though.
Yeah, GG must have been forced back out here because they are in a comfortable position. Unlucky's going to go back inside. GG have lost one, and it looks like GG might just be down and out in this fight. Alliance have just done so well at being able to pressure them in the
That's
right
why you
areas.
can't just back up when Alliance walks in. Sure, you don't want to fight them, but they'll just come for you.
Away from this fight. Like, just the fact that they were able to go back towards a southeastern choke that we first saw Alliance in, booted out of that next zone just because Alliance's pressure was so much. They first got a knock. Hockey's was holding back a little bit, giving them information with that drone, and now Alliance were able to take up these two buildings.
We just check in again with Nephilim after their struggles earlier against Na'Vi. They did reset, but now they're going to be walking into another
Yeah, they're going to be in trouble
the
here.
Cybercats, I think, are waiting around the
Gonna
corner.
alter up at least,
This
but
is where Alter just allows you just to pop in.
well, they've caught
They
him
have
off guard.
found a single
Result.
and sole stray cat.
Oh, that's a great sky nade.
It's rather 20th in that last game, but these plethora of nades
he altered too
hurtling in
far.
their direction, bombarding
You
them,
just throw?
forcing them in the corner. They need to capitalize, but they lost out on the ballistic at first. Ranch is getting into a
they
nice
got it.
angle, even outside of zone here.
That sky
There's a lot
nade
to follow up too from Nephilim as they get
changed the
eliminated.
fight
Cybercats,
instantly.
they come out on top from the team fight.
No third party
Cybercats were
either.
ready and prepared for that.
Oh no,
There
here it
might have
comes.
just been one player
Aurora.
facing, but now they've also got to try and work their way through Aurora because they heard this commotion. And
I want
oh
Aurora to do
my
well.
Goodness, this is why Fuse can be
They're
deadly.
always like there.
A little taste of their own
Pre-games,
medicine when
the,
now they
group
have a bunch of
matches,
nades
but
to
then
work
land,
with
they
from
just-
their feet. Gaming Gladiators
match point
try to
finals, they just
re-engage
get
on
toasted.
Alliance, and Alliance said, "You haven't learned your lesson, old man." As now
GG,
they're able to not
you
only
can't back
win
up.
this team fight, but still
Can't
be
allow
able to take that
Alliance to
building.
just walk straight through and
So
park
Cybercats
next to you.
just trying to
They'll
push
just
up
kill
and
you.
try and push out, and maybe they forced a reset from Aurora here. So Aurora, even though they had all that damage from the fuse grenades and from the Motherload ultimate, just weren't really able to get into a position to actually capitalize on it. So Cybercats will just be able to hold the northern side and should be able to get into zone. Just have to be careful of Mouse as their next target. But Aurora, in the position they hold, I think it's good that they retreated. They had the portal to work with, so
Sergio
they were
Busquets,
able to go
what a
back.
name.
And that Void Nexus is just so key
He's a
to
goated CDM.
resetting sometimes, but they will be within the next zone, so they'll be happy.
And
I
they
put
had
my
the
engine
team, I
now,
believe,
it's
on
4
their
AM.
passing cliffside, wrapping around entirely. They had the survey because
Totally
there was
good.
also a ring console to the north side of cliffside. So having that information to get up on top of the high ground buildings is key here. While we take a look at Team War, looking at the Crypto EMP2, they would believe it. 1-2, they find both members of Team Nemesis. Only one left here, but Mouse now coming in for the third party.
Mouse having a peek.
So I hold this building is so hard. Of course. Pauses.
Going from
There we
several
go.
angles here
Back.
to our Team War. You all need to have a plan. You can't just escape as a one, and I like it. There was clear comms of where they were going to be heading, and now they find themselves on this stairwell. But again, it's not comfortable here, Vicky. There is several angles you can be pushed from.
This is
and
intense.
many
I don't know how
a
to handle
void
a situation
passage
like
that you
this.
can be like really struggling with.
I can't believe how many different resets we just saw right there. From we saw
All the best
all
players
three
going at it.
teams fully reset with Alter, whether it be taking the Void Passage or with that Void Nexus.
Alter will be
Mouse
banned
did
for
it,
Game
War
3
were
as
able to
well.
go up on the high ground. Team Nemesis aren't as lucky.
Probably
Now just
Ballistic
left as
after
a
that as
solo,
well, I
while
reckon.
Team War trying to look for that straggler with the Crypto drone.
Crypto.
Cybercats say we don't want to let a team respawn here.
Nemesis down. They did alright, I swear.
Zipline Mafia
Last
also
lane.
deny
I'm not too sure
Team
though.
Nemesis from surviving any longer. 15th place for Nemesis.
As I said,
so
I'm
they'll have
an
to
NA
look to
expert. I know
E-District
everything in
before they
NA.
start finding
I never
more points to
watched
try and get
EMEA or that
towards match
before.
point.
I hardly watched them for LAN, so that's why I only know
what's
like
crazy sometimes
Alliance
when we
and
get to regional finals, there'll be
Aurora.
one team who's like already on the cusp of match
all
point.
the
by
teams
match
that always
two.
make
Not
LAN,
really
Na'Vi
quite
as
there
well.
yet today with how match one went with a lot of the points being shared.
Alliance and
Yeah, it
Na'Vi
gets like that too
very
with EMEA,
close to the
usually
end
with the
game right
heavy-hitting
now.
teams.
Look how much
Specifically, Alliance is a team
space
that I'm
Alliance
always
are
looking
taking.
for. I know everybody else when it
Cybercats
comes to
are-
EMEA, these are the
well,
heavy-hitting demons, and they
excited
still
that.
soaked up 12 KP after that first game alone. Probably still
Oh, we
racking
got
that
the
up after we just
Eastern
saw
Alliance
them win
got
that
the
fight
best.
versus Gaming Gladiators.
Or a
and
10K
also
tenacity
isolated on
fight
that
in the
southern
middle as well.
flank of that next zone pool, as you can see on the minimap.
So 10K.
I think Na'Vi win this game, to be honest, unless Alliance
10K
do
doing
it.
10K things.
Madness. I think
Just trying to
Na'Vi
play
take it.
consistent, get to that late game and put up a good amount of points. Of course, at the moment, they find themselves in, what, I think it's 7th position in the overall, so they are
Oh, I so want to go
crack
crack Energy Drink. I'm going to go crack Energy Drink.
Towards mid-season playoffs.
BRB.
We need to make sure they don't fall apart today.
Slaying for 10K. I was saying it earlier in the chat, and it's 10K as the storyline as Ronin get eliminated. Nice little side-by-side follow-up on that conversation right there. 13 squads left. Onyx being one of the teams to neighbor that. But look at this, the catwalk coming in. War now following up from these zip lines, trying to find their positioning. There's 3 other teams around them. While Ranches just gets a quick nade shot, getting the finishing blow onto Atnum tier 2 and finding 2 knocks, while Team War cannot find themselves out of the zone.
Team War are not going to be the only team eliminated here by the looks of the kill feed and by the looks of this map overhead. Everyone's just been forced in on this western side. Dragons have been able to find their way.
Oh, yeah, Lufka.
Zipline Mafia are to their side. Mouse and UAIM, Onyx are all in the
No,
area
it's
as
Laka
well.
I'm thinking about.
Teams have
Wait,
just
was
been able to find
Lufka
little
on
crevices like this to
Fnatic?
survive
No?
temporarily, but of course with Ring 5 closing,
thinking
you
of
only
a
get 1
different
minute
person.
to reset here before you have
I
to
swear
move
Lufka was on
again, and you
Fnatic.
have to head east.
Or was Laka I'm thinking of? I know Laka was, but I thought it was Lufka and Laka. That was both on Fnatic.
It's the fact that these teams were dead
Not too
center
sure.
in the middle of quarantine zone, and the zone just completely shifted over to that east side of quarantine zone.
Roar's down.
We get
The whole
Reds
middle
coming in as
building.
Aurora are eliminated in 12th place here.
There's Swinny.
Zip,
Oh, Swinny
bringing
from
all
ExoClan.
the members back. It's just that one soul straggler. Mouse now
That's where he
finding
moved to. He
themselves
moved
as a
to
duo,
EMEA.
as well with 11
I think
squads
ExoClan
left.
already was
Everyone
EMEA,
needs
wasn't
to
he?
follow
Just
in
he
once
moved to
that next zone starts
Dragons.
closing the next 20 seconds.
Oh, they're so dead.
Quite disgusting in the right hands, but Miles will now void
They're
passage
so
through,
dead.
But sadly, they're going to be met by a lot of bullets on the other side.
Take the portal. You just got to get out of there.
Able to try and push through this, Miles. I think there's just too much in front of them. They
Yeah,
are
there's-
doing a
oh,
good
wait.
job, has to be said.
No
Zero
way.
nothing. Maybe with an opportunity to go
Did
big,
3v2 this?
just to try and put some extra
Come on, you got
capability
this.
on the board.
But he's missing these
Oh, who's someone's got a third party that surely?
Those first initial shots dictated everything from winning that fight. Miles
Cracking a
fall
mother.
down,
I'll be
UAE
minding
back
after
on the
you, or
lobby,
just want to
eight
hear me
squads
crack it.
left, while
Ready?
Dragons try to fight for their lives in between Zero to
Oh,
Nasty
yeah.
and go next.
So 18
Oh,
for
yeah.
Dragons
It's a great sound.
trying to stay alive, and it is going to be just fighting the remainder of Go Next. They will be able to win that one out, but Case Winnie's gone down, so they're going to try and
Oh, that
get a
mother
res here, but
tastes
looks like
amazing.
it's going to come through, but that zone is going to start to tickle your backside if you're not careful.
Run as fast as you can. Case Winnie now.
Going
Looks like he went
down.
down. That thermite 2 right
Can't get the
there.
res.
Just
Tyler's
prevents
gonna go
them from
down.
being able to fully
Oh, he's
reset
stuck on the
with
inside.
res.
Is he now? No, he's on the outside.
I mean, you mentioned this comp.
Surely they get that
It's
res.
not exactly one that is going to allow you to reset comfortably, but Z10...
Naske? So what team's Naske on?
Kashira's just gone down as well, and looks like 10K are taking the fight, and maybe
Love
struggling
Naske.
here. Zero Tenacity is still a full 3.
Seen his
Unlucky,
name.
meanwhile, is looking in 2 different
Naske
directions.
Twitch.
Gets a
10K.
knock
So
onto
Naske's on
Boskill,
10K.
finds a grenade toss onto EQ as well. Onyx in trouble. Navi getting some of these
So
knocks.
Alliance or
10K
Navi's
get
just gonna win this
eliminated.
game.
It's the battle of the demons
Oh,
in the final
Navi's gone
zone.
down.
Cybercats
Oh my
keeps
god.
trying to survive
What?
with the 9
Alliance just
lives.
wiped Navi. I told you. I said Navi will win unless Alliance did a mad thing. And Alliance have done a mad thing. Who can beat Alliance? No one. This team is just too good. Especially in EMEA.
But now finally we get 3 teams who are very secure in their positions, and we are going to get an actual end game going down here. Zero Tenacity on the western side within the building. Dragons are holding the northern side, but it's Alliance who have the most coverage on the east, and they have the crypto drone available to give them all the info they want. And did I see a Kraber as well? I might have. Maybe my mind's playing tricks on me, but
Okay,
they definitely
Swinny wins
have
it, but
a red helmet to work with. Even though Z10 have 2 reds to work with as well, I think that... Oh, it's Z10 who have the Kraber, excuse me. Maybe that could be the difference maker for them to break out.
Come on, Fuda. Hit a shot.
Do not deceive you. They need to hit these shots. The Kraber being crucial for Fuda.
Oh, Harkus with the Kraber.
Trying to get a little cheeky.
I really want to see that shot again.
Yeah, Hackers has a Kraber as well. So it's a Kraber off. So Alliance, they have everything. Alliance have all the pieces. They should win this game unless anything goes wrong.
I knew instantly it was going to be Alliance or Navi that were going to win this game. I was hoping Navi took it though, but nah.
They see, though, at the other side,
Unlucky.
Dragon trying to swing over to the right side while Unlucky was trying to get into position. Nice priority on that EMP from Hotkeys, but couldn't expand onto anything. Now with the final zone closing in, Unlucky having to be careful.
Both teams should just gank Alliance, but they're not going to, I think.
I mean,
Oh, that's a very important shot.
The other 2 teams. He's literally trying to poke and prod and create that engagement.
Oh, it's a good shot from Fuda. That's a bad swing, though. Bad swing for Feudor. Alliance win.
This is Alliance just gonna walk in and third party whatever is left between Dragons and Alliance.
Alliance just win. Shocked? Not shocked.
You said that sometimes EMEA can be a little bit top heavy, and we were waiting for Alliance to come to life. They had a 9-kill game in match 1, but didn't place very well, so they were only on the 10 points.
What a shot.
And now they are looking like the Alliance that we were ready to see here today in regional finals, and they get one step closer to that match point threshold here, Vicky.
13 KP to their name, just sitting pretty up on high ground, looking at the two teams that were forced to collapse on one another as we take a look at the match results. As you highlighted, game number 1, they may have fallen early. They still got 9 KP, but we know why this squad likes to take these fights. They know how to fight for their positioning. We saw that versus game in Gladiators.
Oh, I'm so key fan,
Dragons on the come up here too, getting 2nd place and 9 KP to their name.
Yeah, have to give credit to Dragons for how they played, how they were forcing their way into zone and still winning their engagements
GG
as well.
the bad game.
Had an opportunity in that game. They were on the
still a solid game from Barbie.
A little bit by Alliance, but we can look at how this changes the overall series.
Good game from Dragons.
35 points for Alliance. They are 15 off the match point threshold.
No next in GG and Aurora out front. What the hell is Aurora doing?
Also putting their best foot forward as well, trying to secure points to get closer to mid.
10k of Nasuke.
You have to worry about the teams that want to soak up those points. Alliance and Navi specifically already qualifying out here know that they can kind of sit behind, but prevent other teams from being able to obtain their own spot depending on where they land in the overall standings.
Yeah, I think that.
What's Wiggy saying? Up.
Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this.
Catch up, Wiggy. Catch up.
さあ、ソレイは20位。優勝を狙っていきます。そしてキノトロープはフナティックと並んで、このリージョンファイナル臨んでいる。さあ、最後はキノトロープ。このスネは苦しいんじゃないか。さあ、うまく横に回るようにして。さあ、クマもそれに続いた。すぐ言わん。さあ、ミーティア。はい。落ちた。さあ、壁が落ちた。さあ、SBI が取りに来ている。SBI が上から。広く見て、まずは人数の多いフナティック。ここを落として。
As to be played again throughout this set, even if we go 6.
Wig's not live. Hello? What happened to Wig?
Yeah.
Am I tripping? Am I tripping?
Yeah. Good morning. Hello.
Am I tripping?
That's interesting.
Nasuke's up. Greek's up. I don't know what happened to Wig. Yeah, Wig's not up anymore. I don't know what happened. I'll check later. I guess we'll just sit here then. Waiting for game 3. So Alter banned game 1 and then no, Alter banned game 2. Got banned game 1. Ash got banned game 1. So Ash is a good rotation player. Plus movement with the dash. So Ash is gone. Alter's a great combat and fullback with the ult. Q. Placements. Probably Wraith. You see a lot of more Wraith this game. I think Alter, Ash, all the Ashes went to Alter. And then our Alter's probably going to go to Wraith. Definitely. The Ash ults are banned. It's very interesting. I'm so hungry. I want to make some noodles, eh? I'll be back.
Sony InZone, the official monitor of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Big shout out to Sony InZone as well. Hey, you know, Mark, I didn't ask you about this, but I think the truth is, if Sony, you want to send Mark and I some, some InZone monitors for the broadcast coming up, I'd be okay with that. Mark, we'd be all right with that?
I am fully supportive of this idea, 100%.
I know Vicky and Dan are like, us too. I've seen peeps with a few. I mean, we love them, and they're at our event. So if you ever have a chance to be at LAN, it's pretty amazing. Some pretty clear picture there. So thank you, Sony. But let's take a look back, Mark, as we go into map 3 as to what happened in map 2. Alliance, had it under control, but there was Dragons in the mix there for a while. They did a lot to stay alive in that final zone, just weren't able to pull it together alongside Zero Tenacity.
Yeah, one thing I love about how Alliance play in zones like this is they dictate the pace, right? Yes, they have the best position. Yes, they have great shielding, great weaponry. But unlucky here, look at the pressure that he's putting onto Dragons. He's like trying to force Zero Tenacity to take advantage of the damage. He's trying to force this fight the whole time to guarantee the win. And you look, when everyone jumps over this fence from Dragons, they've already taken damage. Like, they've been EMP'd. They've been harassed by Unlucky, so it's never going to be a fair fight. And then it's so simple for Alliance. When you're moving in as the final team in your third party and no one on your team goes down, they won't even have their shields broken. It's just perfect game management from Alliance in that endgame.
And it's an interesting kind of just battle between former teammates and Fuda and K-Swinney going back and forth in their new rosters. I feel like Dragons have, been in a position where obviously they could qualify, but if they didn't and they are on the bubble, it would be maybe K-Swinney's almost first ever LAN that he's missed in the entirety of the ALGS. He has been such a big factor in the EMEA region. Questions now if they can continue it. A big game coming up here would certainly put them in a great seat, a driver's kind of position in this tournament with our final potential 3 coming up. But you never know. This is match point. It can go for a while. But Zero Tenacity too, Mark. That's a team that I found has finally found the rhythm. Phoenix is a guy I've cast in a lot of different esports. He's tried to find different from Ford Gang all the way to this. Fuda obviously coming away from K-Swinney's squad, trying to find his moment. And I feel like they've actually meshed into a team that is a top 10, top 8 type of team. But the question is, can they keep that up? And heading into game 3 in E-District, that's where you kind of test the team synergy. Can you do it across 3 different maps and keep that?
Just make myself some food. I'll be back.
You have a good game here.
Yeah, they're going to be really testing the consistency of teams today because we are switching maps every single game essentially until we get
that's
to
weird.
E-District and then we snake back the other way. So it is very uncomfortable for a lot of these teams.
It is. It's a very weird format.
To be consistent. It's a change of maps. It's a legend ban. There's no Ash. There's now no Altar as well, and that's big going into E-District as well. Having no Ash and no Altar for back-to-back.
So no character ban for match 1.
The 2 legends that you would look at wanting to be in your composition.
Oh no, there is no character ban for match 1 because you need a game to be played first.
For a very different feeling E-District.
Wraith's getting picked up. Yeah, Cat as well. Wraith's getting picked up. Wraith's going to be a huge pick for this next game.
And the abundancy here on E-District as well. So a little bit of a different feel from Broken Moon to what we usually have with that end zone that we had previously, with a lot of buildings being available to play. But E-District is all about buildings. It's all about being able to find the position and all about being able to lock it down. So not having Altar to be able to overextend, to pour up into some buildings and also to secure some buildings is going to be, it kind of tests you again, like I'm saying, with what composition you're going to throw together and if you've prepared properly for what you believe the legend bans are going to be.
Rotations could be uncomfortable. That's for sure. I mean, Wraith clearly going to get leaned on here a little bit. We've seen the reason, though, that it could get uncomfortable comfortable, especially in moments like this, is E-District sometimes just blocks you off. There's just nowhere to go. Maybe the length of a ramp, a huge bridge that 3 teams are sitting above, and you've got to cross underneath. Without that altar, without some type of unique space adjustment that you can take on your team, it's going to be almost impossible to survive some of these late game rotations, especially if you don't nail it right away. Valkyrie has been mentioned but not brought up. Conduit has been a team that's been mentioned and pushed a little bit in North America. Keon and Fury.
All right, game 3. I'll let this play on. I'll be back. Go on and make myself
some VOD review of it, and how maybe just going for a team fight and instead opting for a little bit more of aggression with that defensive potential of her Radiant transfer can actually make the difference in some of these fights and some of the TTK that we've seen ballistic impact with the length of his Tempest. It's going to be interesting how teams decide to handle this problem, because it's not just one, as you mentioned, Mark. It is 2 games on E-District. They've got to have a plan, and they've got to be able to execute here.
Yeah, and speaking of plans, their games are going to plan at the moment. 35 points, just 15 points away from hitting match point. And from what we've seen in the first 2 games, it will be no surprise whatsoever if we see Alliance being the first team to hit match point today. But just looking across legend composition, seeing the first Pathfinder of the day here on E-District, which I love, not just because I love Pathfinder, but it's also just a very good legend for kind of negotiating some of those difficult rotates that we've talked about, right? From low to high across some of that open ground. And we're also seeing Wraith in there a little bit. We're seeing some Fuse, a lot of Crypto as well. We're seeing a little bit of Sparrow. It's a real mix-up, and you can see it on your screen right now. There's actually 2 Pathfinders, excuse me, who are in this lobby. Cybercats are going to be running it as well. So a lot of different legend variation, which, again, you think about when you go into a team fight, you've got to establish not only now shields, weaponry, but also what legends you're playing against in this 3v3 to kind of navigate your way through that fight and what they can offer in the fight.
You know, and I also love the fact that we have the #1 and #2 team not playing a single legend that is the same. We've got a Ballistic, Catalyst, and Sparrow, and then we go to Onyx, who's 2nd place, and they have a Wraith, a Crypto, and a Watson. 2 different ideas on how to achieve success here in this map. Is already Dragons off to the races. They've dropped the Sparrow in favor of the Crypto, and they're taking the Catalyst and the Ballistic. To me, I think I lean more on the side, at least my preference, of having the Catalyst around, because yes, the Pathfinder, I like that movement. But really, what are you going to do in terms of stopping somebody who has a better position in these buildings that are very hard to siege? Pathfinder could get aggressive, but not every moment allows you to do that. But buying time, that's still where the Catalyst, to me, is one of the best, if not the best, legends in end zones, and of course, crossing big pathways. So I think that's still going to favor Alliance there. They've opted with it, and they've got tons of vision. And that Ballistic, I mean, we're seeing less of it, Mark. The way it was prioritized a couple weeks ago, it was almost, you know, one of our first 2 bans for sure. But it's one of those legends that, I mean, you cannot discount the impact turbocharged up, getting all level 3 attachments. But right
Why is it paused? Did it just happen? What's happened? What's fucking minute? Oh. Fresh.
But they've got to work through
Sorry.
Dragons as
I'm
Tyler.
back. I was
with his new home here next to Chaotic and K-Swinney, just healing back up with a med kit. Temp is still on the run, but no extensions anymore, thanks to the nerf.
No squad's dead at least, so we didn't miss anything.
Does not add any more time based on knocks from that ultimate. So Slab gonna have to just
won't be talking that much. As I said,
survive on his own here.
Eating food,
the last remaining member of
drink too.
He's running straight through the middle of zone at the moment.
This is just practicing.
He's be pulling, so he's trying to
mainly for the EWC to come up July 16th, July 17th.
Too much attention away.
Just right when Rugby League 26 comes out too, which is crazy.
The northern side of the map at the moment.
But yeah, I'm just practicing for that.
So
setting up, make sure this all works. I was just going to do LA, but decided to do EMEA because I couldn't sleep. I like 4 hours sleep, and I was like, I got a notification. It was like, starts in half an hour. I was like, oh. I guess I can do EMEA and I can do LA.
Crazy after all the engagements we've seen, all the chaos, still 20 squads left. No team has actually fully fallen in this map so far. So E District is giving us
some food to eat, some noodles. Why?
A little bit wonky, a little bit unsettling for a lot of teams. No one's really found their footing. Obviously, Team Nemesis, one of our top teams.
I know it's in
third place overall in the league.
First time
Zero Tenacity, 10K, who we've seen in some of these late game fights. Gaming Gladiators, even, who need to kind of pick things up if they want to continue. I think if it ended right now, Gaming Gladiators would be out of qualification, Mark. So a big stake for them in this game to kind of get the points rolling again, sitting in zone, not making too much of a mess. But we've got so much action here on these fringes that it's kind of kept our attention.
Own story developing on the southern side of this zone at the moment between VCGO, Mouse, to about, by the way, and FaZe. Like, it's been, we've got 1 minute 30 left on zone 2 here before we hit zone 3, and all of these teams have fought numerous times, but all of them are still alive by taking each other down. But respawns have come in, and it's completely separate from everybody else on the map at the moment, who is either in the zone or on the northern side. It's quite remarkable.
It's like a little love triangle here, and they're realizing they can't live with these players in front of them, but they seem to not be able to live without them.
Can't live with them, can't live without them.
Mouse, FaZe Clan, and VCGO. VCGO leading the charge there, heading into zone as we catch up with Aurora. 9 Impulse on the Devotion. He's fully ready to go. That'll be turbocharged as well as he stares at Fasate holding down that little pizzeria on the other side. Kazakh with the bow check bow, and just going to try to get him out of there. Masate looking for the res. This should be picked up here. The Arcstar does hit a little, but it's not enough to re-knock Yans. So while the pressure is there, somehow still staying alive. Yans and Masate restabilizing against Aurora's pressure.
Yeah, knuckle cluster's been exchanged, between the two teams. But like you say, you thought that knuckle cluster might have been enough to get the re-knock there for Aurora, but it wasn't. But Excuse he's going to fire one back at his zone. By the way, I played with someone the other day who, a friend of mine who described, accidentally instead of saying knuckle cluster, said knuckle cracker. And I think it has a much better name, and it should be rebranded as Aurora finally do make the push.
Absolutely, the knuckles cracking right here. They say, let's go, time for a fight. And Kazakh takes it, and this is the risk. This is why they didn't push it, because they're vulnerable after that if they don't get the reset. There's got to get a res here. You got to armor swap, probably drop your armor to get them back up, so you have at least 2 who can fight after that, even though it'll be 1.5 in terms of got to get that med kit off to get back to full health. But so far, Aurora take the risk, and it has paid off. Hockey's, though, risking it a little bit, as well as the over peaks. Alliance in first place. Need a little help from Unlucky, but here comes FaZe. They've been on a terror this entire time. They've traveled the distance. They said, our Odyssey, we don't want that to end here. We're willing to take on the top dogs. Is it going to work out for them?
No, it's not, because they are getting absolutely...
Yeah. Performing quite well now, is shame. I'm just testing it. Ad loaded. Are you kidding? YouTube. I just think my internet for some reason it's just yeah, even on my phone it's all decked out. Don't know why. Loading at the moment.